Today we will talk about the small data and soft data and why these two things are the key for better understanding of yourself and why we need a extended brain for this. Uh, so um, let's start from the beginning. So the data is the key because digital you actually is the data footprint. So you are the data and this data are everywhere and it's quite important to understand that if you want to understand you better, you need to understand all your data that you have. And the data is quite special thing because the sovereign data is what we believe, what I believe, and what we are building um, around. And Kin actually is one of the example of the data that you own, and that's why the sovereign data is extremely critical. So the sovereign data is data that you own, so don't give the key of your from your life to somebody else. So don't give the data away. So keep it this data with you. But you definitely wants to control your data. Yeah, and you wants to give a consent to other people maybe to get the access to your data, to share your data. And for example, you for sure wants to get some insights out of your data. So maybe you want to process them to better understand them, and all this should be sovereign. So all this should be owned by you, and so we all know about the big data and big data chaos because the big data was everywhere, so everybody talking about the data. And usually the big data is the data where you lost yourself because it's too complex. It's common for the big enterprises, so it's a big volume of the data. That's why it's big for sure, and it requires some data magicians like the data scientists and all other people that do some tricks to understand this data, to derive some metadata of it. And it's usually more about platforms around you than you as an individual, but it's extremely popular. So and the small data, it's more about the data that you care. So and it's most important thing that first of all is human and brain friendly data, and we need to understand that for the small data it's an amount of data that you're capable to digest, that you could mean on it, you could digest it, you understand it. It's something that you really cares, that it's easy to make decisions, because at the end we always need the data for making the better decisions in life. And for sure it's more about you, not the platforms. So and you for sure could follow the link and watch my video about the small data and what it's about and what's the difference between the small and big data and so on and so forth. So the hard and soft and meta and data. So you own the different kinds of data, not only categorized by the size, but categorized by the kind. And if we quickly go through it, so the hard data, it's what we all use. So it's the facts and data points collected over the place from your email, from your watch, from your trackers, from other things, so the bank account statements and so on. The soft data is more interesting and it's not so popular, but it's more about your values, about your feeling, about your thoughts, your ideas. Maybe if you have the personal journal, so the personal journal is a really good source of the soft data. So, and the majority of the soft data is sitting deep inside you and your head, and actually it's more about you, and it's quite important to understand this soft data. And metadata is easy. So it's data about data, and it's usually the analytics on top of the data. So we could get some insights from the data and create the new data. So it's this recursive approach that you always could derive more data from data. Yeah, and it's three types of data that we all usually produce, and we all usually have about ourselves and world around us. And that big data for sure they allow the hard data because for them is the fuel, because it's the main thing. And every company do it, every company keen to own it, and it's more about what, when, and how. So it's more about the facts, as we already figured out. And the opposite to this, it's not opposite but slightly different, it's the soft data, that it's more about you, and it's more about why, and it's more about your view of the world around you. Because what I mean that, yeah, for example, you have a shopping data, yeah, for some period of time, or other things, but you have more artifacts, right? Why you buy it, it's the different question. So maybe it's more about your feelings, or about your hobbies, or about your fashion, or maybe something about your family and events around your family and all other things. So quite often, if you take a look only on the hard data and data points, maybe you miss something really important. Yeah, because we don't understand why. Because we don't know your feelings, we don't know the context, we don't know what's going on in your head, and actually the soft data could tell us about all the things. And yeah, so we need a bridge. We need the bridge between this data house of the big and hard data that we have, and how often you have a situation where you have a lot of articles, a lot of browsing history, a lot of different things that you want to get back, but you always not able to find the stuff and to understand the stuff. So you want to have a bridge from the world of the facts and all data that you have, and maybe some crazy data like the browsing history, articles, and your emails, bank account statements, health data, and gazillions of other data points that you produce daily, to something that smaller and something more digestible and something that you more care about. So we want a bridge from the big data to the small data, and more the soft data. And for this bridge, we for sure need some kind of toolings. And just a couple of years ago, it was practically not possible, because you need your personal data analysts, your personal data scientists, and all these people around that actually earn some crazy amount of money. And that right now we have this possibility. So we need to extend our brain with the new tools, and obtain some new hobbies and new skills. But maybe the deep understanding of data science will take a lot of time to obtain. But we need to extend our brain to get this bridge working for us. And the extended brain is not a new idea, it's quite old idea. And your brain is already heavily extended, on my opinion, because your brain is not existing in isolation. It's not about just your thoughts and so on. It's more about your body and environment. So you consume a lot of information outside, you understand how you feel, you understand what's going on with your body, you react on this information. And we even have the theory that actually the brain arrived just to predict the conditions around us, and help our body to survive. Another quite important extending point of our brain is other people, because we start hacking and extending ourselves just when we get born, because we rely on our parents, and maybe the community around the parents to grow up. We need the time to grow up and get stronger. And then we always stay in a society, so we always extend ourselves with the different people around us. And even our knowledge actually we heavily depends on others, because um, are you able to grow up your own vegetables, or make your own bread, or make your own personal PC? Probably not. Yeah, so we more the social brain oriented creatures that really rely on other people. So we extend our brain with other people. And I don't want to take this talk long, but in some point we discover that we could externalize our capabilities of our brain. And it was the caveman that draw the first picture somewhere in a cave. And after that we invent the writing language, we invent the books in some point. In a renaissance, we invent the common books, yeah. So instead of some super smart people that wrote something and publish it to others, we get the ability to just record our thoughts, our ideas, and all other things. And it was this commonplace book where we made our knowledge personal. And over the centuries, for sure, we refined this writing learning loop, and we invent a lot of source frameworks like Zettelkastens and all other things. And after that, we get even more wild and invent a lot of technologies around this. But still, it was quite slow, and it was nothing in compare that we currently have. And currently, we have the AI extended brain, that we could extend our capabilities with the artificial intelligence agents that could help us. They could be our data scientists, they could be our financial expert, or maybe they could be our coach and psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever we want. And actually, it's completely different scale, because right now we could use it to build them a second brain. So we could use it to build the second us that know everything about us, that see the world with our view, and are able to summarize the information in a context that we need, that could produce actually from this data house, data points, a small data set that we really will care about and maintain over the time. So we could maintain our second brain. But what is more mind blowing, that from the second brain we could move to the completely new concept of what I call in the polybrain, because right now you extend yourself with the artificial agents that could act on behalf of you, that could interact on behalf of you, and you just create the network of the identities and agents that could work practically together with you. So you get not a single brain, you get the multiple brains, and some of these brains could be specialized and focus on some areas that you will not able to obtain this knowledge over the time quite quickly. So right now you have the network of the experts that working on you for some particular topics. So now we have this super powerful combination of the soft and small data that tell us or tell you what you care about and what's matter and why you're doing some set of things and you don't do some other stuff. So this framework of the soft and small data allow you to build the better version of you together with the artificial intelligence agents. It's give you completely different instruments to extend and improve not only yourself but the world around you. And that's actually what we currently doing with the Kin, because Kin is more about soft data. It's more about interacting with you, learning about you, helping you extract from yourself the small data set and soft data set that you have as your brain and you could have as a second brain. But in future, when it will be big enough and when technology will grow enough, then you could have the polybrain of the network of experts around you